everyone, Jamie here with Sweet Pickins. Welcome to our home. I'm so glad you're here. We are gonna make a super simple supper again. I know we just made one, but I just got home from work. I need to get supper going, but I have some other things that I need to do. So I wanna make supper tonight super easy. So this is gonna be a two-part video. I'm gonna show you guys how to prep your meat and what you can use, not use, use instead of, and then we're gonna let it simmer. And then I'm gonna do a second video coming back later this afternoon, showing you guys putting the rest of it together. What am I talking about? We are gonna have pulled pork sandwiches today, easy. So there's a couple ways you could do this. I am using my Dutch oven. However, you can use a crock pot for this. I've used this in a crock pot a million times. I'm just using my Dutch oven today, and then I'm gonna throw it on the stove and it's just gonna cook. The one thing that I absolutely love, first of all, I love the cast iron. Absolutely love cast iron. But the one thing I absolutely love is when you're cooking it in a cast iron, it smells absolutely incredible in your home. When you're using a crock pot, you usually get that smell, but you have to open it up to kind of get that smell. It just feels like the smells and everything's just infused and it comes right through the pan and it just is yummy. So we're gonna use the Dutch oven today, and this is really a simple way to do it. If you are not home, you probably want to go with the crock pot, but if you're going to be home, do it this way if this is easier for you. So we're going to use this. So let me show you what I picked up. So today I picked up the pork top loin boneless roast tip. It's big. So this is 3.5 pounds. So I am actually not just feeding us. My dad just had surgery, and so my mom is working, plus she is taking care of him. So I thought, why not get a bigger roast here, and then we can split it. We can have some and they can have some, and then my mom doesn't have to cook. So that is kind of the plan. That's why I got one that was so big. But beware. Pay attention to how big you get, because sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, it makes so much. So they had the smaller ones there. And the one thing about the pork is it's so much cheaper. So this is 3.5 pounds and it was only $8.85. So very, very reasonable. Now, if you want to get a big one and you want to only eat half of it now, you can always make it all and then freeze half of it. That is definitely an option. So let's put this meat in. We're gonna put this meat right in our pan, okay? All right, so I went to the grocery store today and I didn't even think about broth. I have used all my broth. I actually used all my broth when we made our pot roast. Didn't even think about getting more broth, and so I'm like, shoot. All right, well, I'm not going back to the store. We don't go back to the store. Once I'm there, I am not going back. So this is a little hack. If you're in a situation and you're like, I have all these seasonings or packets of seasoning, but you don't have any broth, there are options. You can make your own broth with water and all your different seasonings. Or if you happen to have an au jus pack on hand, which we do because I love au jus sauce, especially when we're throwing a tri-tip on the barbecue. I use au jus sauce a ton. So this is just a McCormick au jus sauce. So I keep it in. So what we're gonna do is we can use this instead of broth. Absolutely, you completely can. Now, when I use au jus instead of broth, I do add seasoning. So I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna do. So we're just gonna kind of sprinkle this over the top. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my knife and I'm just gonna poke the meat, just so those flavors and all the juices can infuse down in the meat. So I just like to poke it randomly. You can use a fork, you can use a knife, you can do really easy, not super deep, shallow, more shallow cuts. But I find just poking the meat is fine. It really helps to moisten down that meat. Okay, so that's all I did. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I have 4 cups of water And I don't use cold water. I usually try to use warm water just because it helps. Or if this is already warm and then we throw it on the stove, it actually starts the cooking faster. So what I like to do is just pour this in here. And I really didn't know how much I was gonna need, but what I want is I want the meat to be submerged. So I did four cups. There's 2 more cups, and I think that's absolutely perfect. So as you guys can see, it's pretty much submerged. So what I want to do is I want to add some seasoning. So we're going to add some granulated garlic. Again, you can add whatever you want. You can add herbs, different seasonings than what I'm doing. I just like to add, the au jus sauce has a really good flavor. I just feel like the flavor is not quite strong enough. So I did granulated garlic. Then I'm doing coarse pepper. Okay, and then we're gonna use some onion powder, but we're gonna be careful how much onion powder we use because we're actually gonna dice up a fresh onion. So just a tiny bit of that, and then of course we're gonna do some salt. And I use sea salt. This is from Costco. I don't get too crazy with the salt because I don't want it to be salty. So that's all we do. So it's gonna kind of mix itself. You can mix it around if you want. It's gonna mix itself. So we are gonna add an onion to this. Now, the reason why I wanna add an onion is for 2 reasons. First of all, flavor. You're gonna get a ton of flavor from an onion. You can use any onion you have. I had 1 white and I had a few reds. I obviously definitely wanted to use the white over the red, but if you only have red, use it. You have the yellow, the Vidalia, it doesn't matter. Just use whatever because you really want the flavor from an onion. Now, some people don't like onion. It kind of blows my mind that people don't like onions because I absolutely love onions. Honestly, I can eat an onion like I eat an apple. So we are going to cut this up and we're gonna put it in there for flavor. However, we are making pulled pork sandwiches. So what we can do is we can pull out the pork when it's all done. I'm gonna show you all that process on the next video. We're gonna pull it out. We can use this in our sandwiches. So it's using double duty because we're gonna add cheese and we're gonna add sauce, barbecue sauce. So you can add some onion. If you don't like onion, just use this for flavor and don't use it on your sandwiches. But honestly, I think this is gonna be excellent on our sandwiches. It'll just add another, profile. And if you don't like the flavor of onion, you do not, Georgie, you don't want this onion. Trust me, you don't. It's gonna burn you. If you don't like the profile flavor of onion, you don't have to even use this. It's not gonna make any difference. I'm just mostly using it for flavor, and I'm just gonna honestly use the whole darn thing. And it's a really big, big onion. But like I said, I had one onion, white onion left, and then I had 4 or 5 red onion. So I was grateful I had the white, but I would have used the red. So I'm just kind of putting this around. Okay. Ooh, it's starting to water my eyes. You guys are on here with me all the time, and my eyes are always there, very sensitive to onions. So, okay, so that's it. Literally, guys, that is it. So now what we're gonna do, you guys can see it. We're gonna throw it, I'm gonna throw it on the stovetop for 30 minutes on high. I wanna get it up, get it boiling, just really get it, and then I'm gonna lower it all the way down to low for the next 4 hours. If your low is still hot, you may not need it that long. You're gonna wanna cook it until it's cooked all the way through, but mostly you're gonna know when it's cooked completely is when it starts shredding. So we're gonna put this on the stove on high, 30 minutes, low for about 4 hours. And actually it's 4 hours total. So I said that wrong. 30 minutes on high and 3.5 hours on low. So it's a 4 hour total cook time. If you have a crock pot, you could do this low and slow, or you could do it quicker. You aren't gonna wanna do this quicker on your stove though, because you want the meat to be tender and infused with all those flavors. I mean, doesn't this look amazing? And we're gonna make pulled pork sandwiches. And then we're gonna make coleslaw to go with it. So I'm not going to do the coleslaw with you guys because guys, that's already on there, but that is what I'm going to deliver to my mom and dad. And then we're going to have it. So we're going to just have a side of coleslaw and we're going to have pulled pork sandwiches. So that will be absolutely perfect and an easy supper. It's going to smell the house so yummy. So I can go get started on a few things that I need to get done. So that's easy. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. Remember, this is video 1 of 2. The next video will be of me shredding the meat and adding all the sauces to the meat and just kind of showing you how we do our pulled pork sandwiches. And so make sure you watch part 2. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We need more subscribers and we need more likes on our videos. We're trying to get monetized. We're just a small business. We've got the watch hours. The watch hours are through the roof. However, we just don't have enough subscribers or likes on our video. So if you guys wouldn't mind, if you're watching, like the video. And don't forget, you guys can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Sweet Pickins Reno, Pickins Reno. Behind the scenes stories, all the things that are going on. So there's extra stuff on my social media pages that are not here on YouTube. And then don't forget, we have a website, shopsweetpickins.com. There's lots of goodies, decorating ideas. There's a blog. There's all sorts of stuff on there. We're getting ready to put our bakery stuff on there too. So there'll be a whole tab for Hello Sugar. So we're excited about that. So guys, we will see you back here in just a little bit for part 2 of pulled pork sandwiches.